So basically, guys, with this week and next week, we are wrapping up with the ending of the Cold War. And of course, looking at the collapse of the communist system. And I feel like that relate is in regards more to, when we say the collapse of communism, we're talking about the breakdown of the breakdown and opening finally of the Soviet Union, right? We spend a lot of times in our lectures looking at the maps and how the different countries have changed over the years and the decades, right? And so with the collapse, I forgot to put a map in this week, sorry, but with the collapse of communism, we really see that eastern part of Europe open. And so today, when we look at maps, they don't look like they did 40 years ago. We see more diversity on maps today because we see more of those groups that were able to, break away from those superpowers and exert their own independence. Guys, remember that's the whole point of Woodrow Wilson's 14 points and that idea of self-determinism. And in actuality, it's kind of what nationalism is all about. The Nazi Party, Mussolini, those other fascist dictators that came about there at the beginning in the 19th century, they were just one type of nationalism and, the extreme type of nationalism. But we have to remember that, nationalism is just about people wanting their voices heard. So, as human beings, we all want to feel loved and we all want to feel special. And that, that translates up our social hierarchies to our levels of countries too. People want to feel that in their country. They want to feel like their culture is valuable. And, once again, they want to feel like they're a part of that collective world group. And the war was manipulation. What we will see until this is why it's kind of weird for me this year to make these lectures for our history classes, because we are truly rewriting history as we speak. We have come from where's my map? I meant to go first too. Sorry guys, I'm still nursing that kidney infection. My fever's finally broke, but bear with me. And so so what we are seeing right now are truly changes to all of what we have been learning about the systems of, these Cold War tactics of manipulating smaller countries for your own nefarious agendas. This hold of industrialism and capitalism that are not sustainable, and that's another reason why a lot of these the colonized countries did not want to go with capitalism. It's that sustainability type aspect. And, we know with the colonial system that it wasn't sustainable. We know the devastation that has been caused to, not only people, but our planet, the other species that we share this earth with, all because of, all these events that we have been talking about since the beginning of class. So I feel like, right now, I know people are a little scared, things are uncertain. And especially when we bring in the context of, before this year, we were worried about, these nuclear missile launches and this idea of nuclear destruction. And it's still there, guys. None of this has gone away. But what we see with the year 2020, and when we finally move forward and into the future, and we do start writing this part of history into the books, what we're going to see is that we're not on the beginning of change right now, guys. We are in the absolute middle of it. That's how I feel. And that's one of the reasons why we're seeing all this outpour of violence and anger being projected into society. It's because I don't really know how to how to explain it, but when things are truly changing in the right direction for you, that's when the negative wants to come back and say it wants to come to you and try to pull you back and say, "No, no, you can't do that. You can't grow." Think of it in your individual lives. Maybe there's something you've wanted to do, like say, maybe you wanted to move to a new town for a new opportunity, but like your family didn't want you to leave, so they were scared for you to leave because, they wanted you for whatever reasons, their fear. And so then they project that on you and no, don't go do this thing that's going to make your life better. Stay here with us and don't change. I think that's a good analogy, and so I do think that we're seeing that played out on this the collective social level right now. And so I just once again have to say that since the Cold War era, we have definitely see a lot of fear in history, and we think that there are more violence now than is in the past. Oh, that's wait, let me retract that. We think that we're seeing more violence and anger now, and that things seem more fearful. But we really have to take a step back and, thank goodness we didn't live in the 19 or 1800s when raping, looting, and pillaging was the way of life, and there was nobody to stop it. So, as violent as things are now, thank goodness they're not that violent. So that's a positive to it. And then at the same time, I think we have to focus on, we have to focus on the positive things that are occurring because of these atrocious acts that we have been committing against each other as individuals and as countries for so long. It can't go on forever because change is a part of life. So even I know the violence and anger and the looting and stuff is causing a lot of anxiety in people at this time. And then of course for you guys, you have that extra anxiety of being out there on the front line dealing with the COVID-19 people. And, none of these other circumstances are making your guys' job any less stressful or any easier. I get that too, guys. But I also feel like, what one thing that we have talked a lot about in class, and that has been that idea of propaganda. So we know that, we can be led in many different directions based on the media and the information basically that we allow in our lives. So it's up to us as a group to figure out which information we want to accept as true. And really guys, the only truth is we're all humans and we all deserve to be loved and to feel special and to have our needs met. And when those things aren't happening, that's when we see this outpour of anger and violence. So by that happening now, what history teaches, so by that happening now, and putting that in the context of history, I have to say that what history teaches me is to keep hopeful and to keep positive, because as bad as all that stuff is, I'm also seeing really positive things on the media too, positive acts of people helping each other, positive things involving animals and nature. I don't know if you guys saw the news story about the Galapagos turtles. I think it was in Venezuela, I believe it was somewhere down in South America. Their Galapagos turtles population was they're on the verge of extinction, and to the fact that they only had 14 girls, and that was it. That's all that's left, and they live a long, long time, at least over 100 for they live a long time, at least over 100 years. But they if you don't have any boys, nobody's living past that, right? And so they got some zoo to bring in their Galapagos turtle down there, and the report was that they have increased their population something like they increased it like expeditionally, and the turtle they brought in, he's like responsible for 40% of it. And so it was a really cute, heartwarming story that, once again, gives me hope and optimism, because you guys, as you know, I've shared with you, in addition to teaching, I do animal education and goat therapy because that's important to me. And I do that because it all ties into the classes that I teach too. And it's that animals want to feel as loved and special as we do. And this violence that we perpetuate against each other, guys, I'm just telling you. I am predicting that it's changing, and the conspiracy theorists want to go down that dark draconian path, but I just don't see that. I see more of positive changes in our future, and I would encourage all of you guys to look for those positive things too, because they do exist. And once again, the best are those are positive things, not all of those are looting and violence. People protest when they feel like there's nothing else that they can do. They do that because they want to give and they want to help and they want to support others. They don't go with the intent of, we're going to go out and burn the wood, burn the town down tonight mentality. That's not what protesting is about. It is a peaceful thing. But like I said, there seems to be this element of human nature in life that when we start to change, we get a lot of resistance to that. And as bad as it seems, it's a good thing, because when you start seeing that resistance, you know that it's cracked open, guys. We can't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. He's on the floor and he's spread apart, and we better learn how to make like an omelet we can all eat. And so those ideas of just compassion and understanding and remaining optimistic and hopeful for our present and our future are kind of just the main things that I want us to keep at the forefront of our heads as we move to these last week and a half. Remember, we have a short week next week, and it's very easy to forget about that. We end class Saturday on, Saturday, June 27th. Class will lock for you guys at midnight. So it's very important that you have all your work submitted by then, because I can't go back, open the class up for you or anything like that. So if you anticipate any kind of problems, guys, reach out to me as soon as possible and start getting your game plan in order so that you can meet that Saturday deadline next week. That's Saturday the 27th. Okay, guys? So basically, I want to wrap up. That's really all I have to say as far as the events that we're going to be looking at. It was scary, because before this year, the way that we view those events, it was kind of like, we'd still in on that fearful leg, because we were very much still in all that chaos. We say that the Cold War has ended, and it ended it ended with the collapse of communism and the fall of the Berlin Wall in '89. And then we say, it officially ended there 93, 94 with George Bush. That would be George, not George W, but George Senior. George H, I believe, George H. Bush, and that's kind of where the conspiracy theorists then come in with their draconian military state stuff. But we say the Cold War, officially ended then, and I just always got the sense that that's not right. It's like, no, other historians agree too. It's like, no, we're still living in this Cold War state, because we still see that manipulation and that keeping people angry and divided in play. And that is definitely something that is changing this year. And you know, once again, guys, I like to think that it is all going in positive directions. You know, once again, we'll probably have a little fallout before we can truly get there. But I know what I'm trying to say. We are going to have a lot of fallout before we get there. And it's important that each of us as individuals who, you know, are compassionate and caring and love other people. And I know you guys are all those kind of individuals because you're in healthcare. You can't be in healthcare if you don't care about other people, right? Maybe some people are, but you know, that's that's more for a psychology a class discussion, right? And so it's just my point is that, you know, don't get down, guys. Don't let any of it get you down. Stay strong, stay positive, because it's gonna work out for all of us. I'm telling you, it has to. And all right, guys. So once again, that's kind of, you know, what I just those kind of ideas and just feeling that I want us to take away as we as we near the end of class. So hopefully, in the time that I have been talking, you guys have had the chance to go through and read this slide, and you guys know, if you've been watching the lectures each week, that this is the same information that I've given you throughout class. So I'm not going to waste any more. I'm not going to waste any more my energy. You guys see, I'm still recovering by re-emphasizing any of this. My best suggestion is if you want, you would like some breakdown of academic writing in APA. You have a video for us in the announcements that focuses specifically on that. Okay. So what I want to do in wrapping up our lecture this week. Oh, okay. I forgot about this slide, but just once again, that same slide, just reiterating and being consistent with the information. You see, you know, just those simple kind of formula. I was going to say rules, but I like my idea of a formula better. You know, that simple formula of how we can include those APA elements so that we can make sure that everybody is spot on with those for the rest of class and that you nail that in your final presentation. So remember, guys, that formula is always going to be who wrote it, when did they write it, what is it, and where did you get it? Even with the updates to APA, that formula doesn't change. Now, you know, how you go about noting some of these elements are going to change. And what I keep seeing the most, actually, I've realized that there are some things that I've been doing wrong, and so I'm trying to update myself. But the thing I keep seeing is it's really that last part, that where did you get it information, that seems to be the one that has changed the most. And in essence, the changes are a lot more simpler. Like I just realized that instead of saying retrieve from and then typing in your URL, you're just supposed to type in the URL now. So just, you know, small little things like that that make it a lot easier for us, and to remember how to include those elements. And then remember, guys, the easiest way to do an in-text citation, you always want to include those, at least one of those, in each paragraph of your post, or, you know, any work that you're doing. And then you always want to make sure you have that matching reference. And remember, guys, it's in that reference that all that full APA formula there. So, you know, you just look at what your source is and figure out, you know, and just plug it in. Okay, you've got the source. Who's the author? History.com editors. Okay, well, what's the date of the article? And just boom, just go plug it in. So hopefully, you know, these tips have helped you guys with APA more, and I would say that it has, because I've definitely seen improvements with that in class. So good job, guys. So, oh, right there. See, I didn't even fix it today. So ignore that retrieved from. Actually, let's go fix that. So you guys know exactly how you're supposed to make that. So if you get the book, if you happen to have a copy of the book online, that we include the URL like that. So don't do the retrieved from anymore with those. And then if we just have, oh, I should have done that too. And then if you have the hard copy like I do, you can just end it. You just end it with the publisher. You don't have to worry about putting the city and the state in there. And because I use Cengage in their materials so much, you guys will see that I don't do the full Cengage learning. I always shorthanded it and just say Cengage. And I'm pretty sure that's okay and acceptable. And then of course, guys, I'm here for anything you need. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me even after our class ends, guys. I'm still always here for you as a resource, reference, recommendation, anything that I can do to help you in your educational journey. Don't ever hesitate to reach out to me. And if I can't do it, I can certainly figure out somebody who can help you. So just a couple notes as I wrap up here. So in week 6, you guys did your transcripts that I'm working on grading. They're really good so far, guys. No worries there. The reason what I want to share is that keep in mind as you take that transcript and you start editing and revising it to use for your final presentation. Sorry, it looks like the road crew decided to come mow the yard, mow the ditch across the street. So keep in mind as you're working on, getting your final presentation together, that narration that you typed out last week, you're not going to copy and paste that into your PowerPoint slides. The point of the PowerPoint slide is to have this aesthetic presentation. So what that means is that you're going to want to formulate your slides so that kind of like I do and our lectures to where I have some like main points that I make, and then I further elucidate or talk about other stuff you guys know on it, and then I'll have like maps and images, and that's something that I would encourage you guys to do with that. And it just occurred to me, I think I need to make you guys a video to help show you how to do presentations in PowerPoint. So I will make, let's go and do that right now, guys, actually. And so what you want, as I was saying, what you want to do is you want to have a mix of kind of imagery, because you want to keep people's but you don't like just to be bored just sitting there reading the slides and listening to you read along. You've got to make it exciting for them, and none of us are professional movie makers. You guys, know that I flub up all the time, and get got distractions going on sometimes, and I encourage everybody just do the best you can. I'm not looking for a documentary or like a professional movie. Now, if you have the capability and the skills to do that, I definitely encourage you and want to see it. Because one of the purposes of doing this presentation is not that you're just doing this for me. Don't think that, oh, Professor Moore's the only one that's ever going to watch this. Think of this presentation as something else that you can add to your portfolio. So I don't know if you guys know, portfolio is kind of like when you're first starting out in like your education or in like your career, it's good to have examples of your work and things you've done to help show who you are. Like, oh gosh, hold on. I've got to go. I've got 40 years of memories here, guys. I'm trying to go back to 18. Okay, so like back when I was 18, and I first started in archaeology and I didn't have any experience. I had to make this portfolio and kind of show like papers that I'd written in my archaeology classes. And then I would add other things like, show like scholarships I'd won and essays I'd written to get those scholarships, grants, and just different samples of things that I could, like examples of like training certificates and stuff I had been through. I would put all of that together and then, try to put my resume and cover letter and stuff in there too. And so this presentation is it is something for you to add to your portfolio. Every career field and, even every level, there's always an opportunity to do some kind of presentation for your college. Maybe you're trying to get a supervisory position and once you get there, you're the one in charge of doing the health and safety checks, or when you go into the lab and that first time your teacher gives you that breakdown of the safety rules and things like that. Maybe that's something more that interests you as far as healthcare goes. You want to be the person making those types of presentations for people, and you don't want to just do it for one class. You want it to be something that like all hospitals can use. So this presentation is a good example then of, your personality to help, and to help strengthen, or what am I saying? To help, it just helps add to whatever it is you want to do. And don't even think that, maybe you're down and you're just starting out. You've never worked in a hospital before, or, you're probably the COVID-19, maybe your first experiences of working in the hospital, and you're ready to take on new responsibilities. Maybe not now, but maybe in the future you want to take on new responsibilities. And so things like, making flyers, or some type of presentation for your hospital is going to be of a benefit for you. And so that's kind of the food for thought that I have as far as the presentation goes, because it is something that you can use later on and be proud of. So all right, guys, let me just take a few minutes here and talk about how to record a PowerPoint presentation. As long as I can open your file, I'm really okay with you using whatever kind of media, I don't know what it's called, media movie maker type of program that you're using. Like I said, as long as I can get it to open, I'm not too picky about that. And if I can't get it to open, or if you think it'll be difficult for me to get open, let's try to coordinate that before Saturday, November. Geez, guys, I don't know where I'm at. June 27th, so that we can try to work that out there at the end of class. Okay, guys, and so YouTube, I don't know if any of you guys have a YouTube account, but there's actually YouTube Live, so you can go do videos on that. PowerPoint, and there's my brain's failing me on other program. Movie Maker, that's actually one I use to make videos, and the free edition is pretty good. And so if you want to do it in PowerPoint, that's good too. When I record these videos for us each week, I do them in a program called Cisco, or WebEx is the like short nickname for it. That's what I was thinking of, nickname. And so I do that, and then I come and open my PowerPoint slide. So I'm technically not recording in here, but you can, and it's actually kind of fun to get in here and play around with the different elements to record a slideshow, and it's really fairly comprehensible. Okay, and so that's where I want to if it'll let me Get out of here. There it goes. So my best advice is to come up here to the search. I know it's giving me trouble. And type in record slideshow. And so what you see is that pulls down a drop box and it gives me different options here. Oh, well, hope I can spell. Can't see. HOW. Okay, so what so you see the drop down box there, and the very last one is the help. The help in Microsoft Office is actually pretty good. If none of you guys use it, I do recommend it. It's always been pretty good. And so when you go on the record slide, it opens the help up over here. And like I said, guys, it's really comprehensible. It walks you through every part of how to do the recording. And then the great thing about it too is that it gives you more sources. So, you know, pretty much anything you need to know about recording in PowerPoint,